Hello, Divu here. I'm going to be doing another Radical Highway tutorial video. This time it's going to be on the loop speed after the first checkpoint. This trick saves about 3 seconds over playing the stage normally, and about 1 second over doing the bridge jump, which is another sort of IL strat in Radical Highway. First I'm going to show off the trick, and then I'm going to sort of break it down into pieces. So you want to spin dash here, slam shadow into the wall. He'll eventually point at the direction of the wall. You then want to just get him over the ledge just like that, trigger loop speed, and then get him over the edge just like that. So the first thing I want to talk about with this trick is loop speed and triggering loop speed. So loop speed here starts around where those like arrows are at. So I'll walk and sort of show it off right now. Loop speed will only carry you if you're holding a direction. So if I just jump homing attack and neutral stick here, you can see I'm past the loop speed trigger, but I'm not being carried by the loop speed. This is unbelievably important for understanding this trick, because we're going to be using neutral stick to do this. If you remember from my last video, when Shadow neutral sticks while spin dashing on these loops, he sort of spins off to the right like this. It's very useful for doing loop speed to the right, but sadly on this loop we can't do that. The reason for that is because there's an invisible wall right past here, so if I loop speed here, I'm just going to hit this invisible wall and I'm be unable to do it. So what we need to be able to do is that exact same thing but to the left. So this is pretty much my setup for doing that. So you go down here, you unroll, you slam shadow into the wall, and then you neutral stick after you slam him into the wall. Now what's going to happen is Shadow is going to come up the loop and then naturally move to the left, all while neutral sticking. This is exactly what we want to do to set this trick up. So just like that, it will naturally move over to the left. So the next part of this trick is knowing when to jump and knowing when to start holding a direction. Because the big part about this trick is that you can't hold a direction until after you've jumped. So you're going to slam Shadow into the wall. He's going to start to face left. He's going to jump. Now, the frame right after that, I can start holding a direction again. Now, I should have loop speed triggered right now. And as soon as I get over this ledge, just like that, I can then trigger loop speed and make my way to the bridge. Next part of this trick I want to show off here is the actual loop speed launch. So we're going to get Shadow in the direction we want him in. We're going to jump, hold our direction after being airborne, which will then trigger loop speed, and get him over this ledge. Once we're over the ledge, we need to go 1-2 extra frames, and then loop speed launch. And then we need to hold ourselves downwards towards the bridge. It takes a lot of practice to sort of figure out the direction towards the bridge, but it's actually not too bad once you get the hang of it. So the last part about this trick I sort of want to show off here is the actual loop speed launch itself. So normally if I get a lot of height from the trick, I want to hold this angle, but if I have the height that I have now, which is a pretty normal height to get, you want to hold this angle and then loop speed launch. So you launch, and as soon as you launch, you want to start holding down towards the bridge. Once you get closer to the bridge, you need to make sure you're holding pretty much a straight right angle, because if you don't, the loop speed properties you get when you land are just going to slam you into the wall. So I'll show off what I mean by that. So if I'm like this, but I'm holding like this angle, I'm going to slam pretty much into the wall. But like as soon as I land, just like that. So it's like very sort of an interesting sort of thing to learn. It's very gradual. But yeah, you can see right there, I messed that up. See. And it's pretty easy to mess up because you want Shadow like facing down at the bridge, but when you land, you can't be facing down. I want to talk about the invisible wall to your left, which will throw you off if you go too far past the loop. So if I jump, get over the loop, and then let's say I get really far out and then I go, I'm actually going to hit an invisible wall and I'm not going to be able to make it. So it's actually sort of like a window that you have to be in to be able to land this trick. Alright, so the thing you'll sort of learn about this as you do it is that it's kind of different every time, because you're not going to land in the same place every single time you slam Shadow into that wall. So like right here is pretty good. I'm going to get a nice loop speed, and I didn't quite make the bridge, but if I'd held it up a little bit longer I would have. But you could also end up like way up here, and you kind of need to point shadow down at the bridge, because if you try to do loop speed from way up there, you're gonna end up being like way too high. So we get him over here. So once I have all those pieces together, I like to either set a save state here or just use a checkpoint when practicing. Luckily, that's the nice thing about this trick, is it's so close to the checkpoint, so you don't really have to worry about like doing it after a bunch of other movement heavy stuff. My last loop speed tutorial sort of went into more detail than this one did, so if you want to watch my last loop speed tutorial video, I recommend it for like really understanding how loop speed works in this level. And if you have any questions, just feel free to ask me, or you know, or if you just want help learning the trick, I don't mind helping people one-on-one. Just let me know. There's just a lot to this trick, and I could talk about it forever.